just to wrap up the T2. Lovely, smooth, laid back. It's a great IM for just chilling out, and it's at a great price for what you're getting. Hello everyone, this is Tone Deaf Monk. Today I am sharing with you another Hisenior IM that I have borrowed from one of our fellow review group members and a friend of mine, the Chocolate Canuck. So, this is the T2 Universal. Let's just show you this bad boy. So, nice shell shape, nice and small. It uses all resin. There is no brass nozzle on this one, but it's got a little bump and it holds it quite nice. 2-pin, sits flush with the shell. Again, I appreciate those little details. One side, well, they both sell us, say Phoebos, which I'm not sure what that means, but it's a Hisenior thing, apparently. Now, how do they look in my ears? Well, my ears look fabulous, but let's see what they look like inside my ears. There we go. Very comfy. Pretty medium small shell. Around the same size as the new Pen-On Turbo that I just got, which I will share some impressions, not today. I'm letting them chill for a few days after my honeymoon stage because there's definitely some love there. But this isn't about those. This is about the Hisenior T2U. Now these are under $100 US. And you could also get universals done for these as well. Pretty phenomenal. Probably going to make it the most reasonable version of universal you can get. The reason I asked to borrow these Mega 5P and the T2U is because our group, we bought all three. So we all get to listen to the new Okavango, the T4U, which is the 4BA version of this 2BA version, and the Mega 5 EST. So one of my critiques of the, or wish list really, of the Mega 5P was that it had more high-end extension. And ESTs, I think, are going to do that, and that'll be an interesting listen. So we have purchased all three of those. And I wanted to do a compare of the T2. You get my impressions of these guys before I got a chance to listen to the T4. Now, I also have a set of mine. These were the freebie ones, the $220 NF Audio NF2Us that I got as a bonus when I ordered my Pen-On 10th. When I paid for that one, I got this as a freebie. So kind of interesting in the fact that these two IMs use exactly the same driver configuration, but they're not tuned the same. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. This is not going to be a crazy long one, but I just wanted to share a little bit of sound impressions on the T2. I have it on a Meet Alice cable I got from Nice HCK. It was $20. I like it, actually. I didn't get the cable that came with these, so I'm using my own, just so you know. And I put it on a SPC to hopefully bring out a little bit more high. So here is the big cravat for me. I am very sensitive, and I think maybe a lot of people are, but they don't realize it, about pressure buildup. And a lot of BA sets don't take that into account. So pressure buildup is basically, the drivers are, and they're in your ear, and there's nowhere for the pressure to escape in these sealed IMs. So what happens for me is that bass is basically nullified, and all I hear is the highs. And after, depends on the IM, but after a minute or two, using a silicone tip with a very, very good seal, it's very uncomfortable for me, and I get ringing. Even if I lift up my ear and relieve some of that pressure, it does help. So somebody commented one day when I was talking about this to use foamy tips. And so I have on both of these, and it really does alleviate the issue. Here's the problem with foam tips for me, and I think for most everyone, is that they have a tendency to cut down the highs. Not probably a great big deal. KZ uses it in all their poorly tuned IMs that were too bright or too V-shaped. So they've since learned. But they used foam tips to control the highs. And this IM is a relaxed highs as it is. So putting a foam tip on isn't going to give me the best impression. Now, this is probably a non-issue if you don't have the pressure buildup issue or don't even recognize it. But for me, it is. So I either have to use foam tips or have a IM, a BA that's vented, or any IM that's vented. So realizing later, I did a review, a pretty scathing one about the Hitas MS5. I won't get into too much of that. There was a good reason I was so hard on it, but I didn't realize also at the time that shell was also not vented, causing probably a lot of my issues as well. And nobody else picked up on that either. Anyway, how does the T2U sound? Lovely. And $100. So if you're looking for a super chill set, the BA, I'll throw up a graph here. This is the T2, pretty neutral across the board. It actually has some good bottom end because there's not an elevated high end, and especially for me, where I use the foamies to cut down the highs, so to my ears and brain, it sounds like it's got quite a bit of bass, even though it's almost flat. It's quite impressive, actually. And the bass isn't your typical BA bass that I find that is very fast and very articulate and almost dry, where it doesn't have note weight. It hits really fast, but it doesn't have a nice decay, so you can't hear the skin on the drum and details like that, where this one gets quite close or closer to dynamic driver. And I like the sound of it. It's a good sounding bass. The mids are warm, and that is definitely a way to describe them, again, because there's not a lot of extra energy in the high end. So what that does for me is female vocals sound too thick. Male vocals sound fabulous, but male or female vocals sound too weighted, too heavy, or I should say not too weighted. It's just that they don't have enough energy in the highs to make them sound tonally correct for me. All right, is that a knock against the T2? Not really. because you could, if you were picking this up for jazz, for say, right, you could listen to days on end with these because they're comfortable and they just are smooth and they have a great replay when it comes to that. Instruments sound good. Again, if I were listening to classical, probably not the IM I'd pick up because they would like a little bit more high-end energy. But for overall, just sitting back, chilling for $100 set, I really, really like these little Hiseniors. I'm excited for. Well, let's finish with this little bad boy. So bass is nice, sort of DD like. Mids are a little bit warm. Highs are relaxed, and probably more so again with these tips. And it sounds it's really a smooth replay. They know how to tune their stuff. I think Hisenior does a really great job that way, and they do listen to people. Mega 5 EST is going to be a higher energy version of a Mega 5. The T4, I haven't seen or heard that one yet, but hopefully it has more high-end energy here. It's also going to be a crazy good price too. And they look baller. That if you haven't seen them, with the pearl blue shell and the blue faceplate, looks amazing. The Okavango coming out is going to be a tunable with switches. And I've seen a graph. Again, I haven't heard it because it's being made for me, and that's coming in, and that's going to be a really interesting one too. And it's going to be a mid-priced one, and then the Mega 5 EST will be closer to up Let's Sure EGA07 kind of pricing, mid-high. Mid-high, I consider something, below 1,000, not massive kilo buck stuff. So, but definitely getting up there. So staging, relaxed. Again, it's not going to be a crazy wide 3D stage. The Mega 5 had a great stage to it, even though without a whole lot of high end, it really did really well. Quality drivers. These are all using Knowles, not some no-name brand as well, and I'll put up a little on the bottom and you can see which ones they're using if you care, but not a custom, not a Belsing. They're using the Knowles. Just to wrap up the T2, lovely, smooth, laid back. It's a great IM for just chilling out, and it's at a great price for what you're getting. So I'd highly recommend it if you were trouble sensitive or you just wanted to have something that you could put in and relax, or jazz special, and they'd be a good one to go to. And it was just an interesting comparison to the NF Audios. The shell's almost exactly the same too, with a deeper nozzle. So that's the NF2U. This one's 220, and this guy is, again, same exact drivers. The difference being between the two is that the NF Audio, I don't know if you can see that, uses probably around 3 millimeters more depth with a brass nozzle with a lip. Now these are 2 times the price, right? 220 versus under $100, $199. Same exact drivers, but they tuned it. Here's a graph differently than the Hisenior. And what they did is they added the high end that I thought the T2U was missing. And listening to both of these was kind of a good comparison because, yes, female vocals. You can clearly tell instruments sound correct on the NF audios. But if I were to just pick up a set to want to listen to and relax all the time, I think I'd probably go here. And especially if I were putting my money, and I think the T4 is going to come into this price. And then you get, probably a better driver, better tuned for the same price. So it was a kind of an interesting comparison, though, between the two, with a little bit, what would happen if this had a little bit more high energy and it would sound like this. So that's why I'm pretty stoked with the T4 coming out. For me, I think that'll be pretty exciting. And that's it for this short little one. Just wanted to share. So again, if you were looking for under $100 set, BA, easy to drive, fits comfortably, super relaxed, a little bit warm, Hisenior T2. And I wouldn't buy the NF audio just because of its pricing. And they actually look butt ugly with this kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like a red skin toned color. There you go, goes my shirt. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks very much. Catch you on the flip side.